In the shadows of giants, we stand tall. Echoes of courage in every call. We are the wildfire, burning bright. With every heartbeat, we claim our right. We are not our ancestors, but their flame we hold. Fighting for freedom, a story retold. In this land of the brave, we rise and we see. Together we stand in unity free. With voices like thunder, we pierce the night. Mahalia spirit in harmony's light. Each step we take, a dance on the line. Resilience in spirit, our souls intertwine. We are not our ancestors, but their flame we hold. Fighting for freedom, a story retold. In this land of the brave, we rise and we see. Together we stand. Through trials and storms, we forge our way. With roots in the past, we greet the new day. In this sacred struggle, our voices align. A testament of love and freedom, we shine. We are not our ancestors, but their flame we hold. Fighting for freedom, a story retold. In this land of the brave, hearts unlimited. Together let's pave a global in the shadows of giants.
Father, Alpha, Omega, my maker, almighty one. I just don't have enough words to give you the praise you deserve. It's about that time I take a deep dive and I go all in. Faith like I'm walking on water, I better not fall in. Yeah, I'ma keep my eyes on you. Seek you like I'm supposed to do. Your love is easy like it's 1 + 2. No more burdens cause I trust in you. You are all I need, and I give you all of me. You come first, more of you, less of me. I'm moving like Matthew 6:33. Yeah, set apart, covered and blessed. I serve God and say it with my chest. Wake up, thankful for his patience, grace and salvation. So nobody bothering me, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. I'm covered in God's armor. Yeah, if you say go, then I'll go. Lord, I only answer to you. So I'ma keep my eyes on you. seek you like I'm supposed to do. Your love is easy like it's 1 + 2. No more burdens cause I trust in you. You are all I need. And I give you all of me. You come first, more of you, less of me. I'm moving like Matthew 6:33. You are all I need. And I give you all of me. You come first, more of you, less of me. I'm moving like Matthew 6:33. If you say go, then I go, go, go. If you say go, then I go, 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 go. If you say go, then I go, 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 go. If you say go, then I go, but I am the answer to you. Da, 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 da. Da, da,
Hello, 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 my beautiful people. How is everybody doing this evening? Welcome to Thoughts of a Stu Queen Bee. Welcome to Stu Queen Bee Thoughts. I'm gonna leave it over here. Maybe I'll upload it in both places, not sure. But anywho, welcome to the channel, y'all. Please do me a favor when you come in the queendom. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I would appreciate that. Feel free to share the video. If you're catching this on the replay, please hit the hype button. I'd appreciate that as well. Leave your comment down below. Let me know what you think and what you feel about what I have to say. Because I'm going to show y'all let y'all listen to some audio. Because I'm not even going to show you the video. But I'm going to let y'all listen to some audio. Unless it's something very serious y'all need to see, then I'll show it to y'all. But other than I'm going to let y'all listen to some audio. I'm using the copyright claim. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use is in full effect. I am using fair use YouTube. Make sure I put the correct banner up here for y'all. Because YouTube loves to dog me out and drag me through the mud and don't like to monetize my real good videos. But what they will do is they damn sure let only a couple people see them before they block them, which irritates my spirit. So what I decided I'm going to do, I have my non-monetized video banner scrolling across the bottom, just in case. But I know how they do me. I'm gonna read this copyright disclaimer again out loud, and I'm gonna put it on the screen. Watch, they still get me. Everybody don't even do that no more. I feel like the only idiot still doing it because they don't care what I do. Anyway, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use purposes such as criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright status that which otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in fair use. We are using this in fair use. Okay? This is for teaching and letting people know if they don't know. Okay? Oh, Lord. I'm leaving that on that screen, but I said fair use 11,000 times already. And they're still going to get me. But anywho, we're talking about the slave revolt of 1811. Now, like I was saying, I never knew about this before. I was not a big history buff. Only certain things I cared about in history. I was just not a big bookworm when I was younger. I got sick of reading and I didn't like to do it. Okay. Um, but as I got older, I started reading more and more and more. And then I started digging in as my son was born. Then I started looking for Black history stuff. Me and my cousin, God rest his soul, my aunt, his aunt, we was always looking for Black history stuff for him, so he will always have some history with him. So that stuff is at my house, so I ain't got it with me because I'd have been through that book with y'all like crazy already. But that has been the thing for me, and learning more about our people no matter what side of what island they come off of. And anybody, the time y'all listen to this, I hope that y'all took the time to watch my other video that I put out earlier, and I hope that y'all enjoyed it, and I hope you left some comments in the comment section. Because I really want to know how people feel. I want people to voice their opinion. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. All I ask is be respectful in my chat. If you're gonna cuss, use some colorful words to spell it, ways to spell it. Be respectful to me, but you have a right to your opinion. Everybody does. It's how you use your opinion. That's the difference. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you have not subscribed to the backup channel, please do subscribe to the backup channel, Thoughts of a Astute Queen Bee. And then I will drop the other two links to the A and B conversation with me on Brit's Block. We have decided to make that into a channel, and we're gonna have some fun over there. Okay. So if we ain't on our own individual pages, that's where we will be at. Okay. That is where we will be at. Sorry, phone going off. I don't got time to answer it. Anywho. But like I said, fair use. And I'm using this from Atune Shea Films. That's what it's called. Atune Shea Films. I don't know what it might be in. They uploaded this like 6 years ago. And this is about happened in Louisiana, and I never knew about it. I've never been to Louisiana. I ain't been too far. I've never been a traveler. I've never done on a plane, but I'm always real with mine because I always said if I was meant to get on the plane, God would have gave me wings. He ain't give me no wings, so I'm staying my behind on the ground. That's how I always felt about it. Okay. So we're going to take a look at this. I'm going to stop a little bit in between so they don't jack me up as bad and they don't just block the whole damn video. Okay. So hold on. Matter of fact, let me do that just in case y'all come through because y'all deserve this, even if I'm here or not. Where did it go?
When I walk through, I got sauce too. Came with that gang, chopper rain, get her up. When I walk through, yeah, she found it. Who brought you? Twins in the bins once again. Yeah, I brought two. When I walk through.
Okay, when we walk through. And thank you for everybody that does take the time to walk through. And again, please hit that like button, hit the reaction button, hit the hype button if you're catching this on the replay. Okay, this will be a premiere as well because this is very important to me. So I want to share what's important to me with y'all. Okay, so let me get down to playing this video. Again, fair use is in full effect. Fair use.
They came from diverse backgrounds. Some spoke English, others French. Some had spent their entire lives in Louisiana, while others hailed from West African warrior nations. About the only thing they had in common was that they had been subjected to the atrocity of American slavery, and that they were willing to risk their lives to obtain freedom at the point of a sword.
In January 1811, 500 slaves of the German coast, the fertile agricultural region just upriver from New Orleans, rose in active rebellion against their masters. This was not the chaotic uprising of an angry mob. It was a highly organized, meticulously premeditated challenge to the slave owner class. Its leaders had...
Oh, y'all, I forgot to tell y'all this. When I saw what originally made me go look into the 1811 revolt is because I watch Paranormal Activity. I tell y'all that a lot. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I just be telling Britt. But anywho, and they were talking about, they went to Louisiana because the people were saying that this house was haunted. The house was a plantation house. Now, all these people lived on this street, and they say they hear noises all in the swamps. You can hear chains rattling, people singing, people crying, all kinds of stuff. They went in the house, and the house used to be a plantation. And the people said they didn't know when they moved there. And I said, people don't realize if you go back to the 1800s, there was no streets. There were no a bunch of houses next to each other. It wasn't all the type of landscape we have now. All of that was grass and ground, and that was where the slaves picked cotton and everything else, and lived on and bled on and died on and was tortured on. So yeah, that energy is gonna be there. I know a lot of people don't believe in paranormal activity and all that, but we are all energy in our bodies ourselves. So I believe in energy. Like, when somebody high vibrational and low vibrational, it's the same thing. It's just the energy. We're all a spirit, just stuck in this dumb, stupid shell that we got. Thank God for it. But I'm just saying, we're all a spirit. So do I believe when bad things happen to people and their spirit could not be at rest and at ease? Absolutely. Do y'all? Yes or no? Put a yes or no in the chat and I'll respond later. But I want to remind you, that's what I was watching. And they brought up this, they were showing what happened. And I thought it was the Nat Turner story. But I found out Nat Turner wasn't born until 1800. And this happened in 1811. He was not 11 years old when it happened. He was a young man when it happened. So I found out it wasn't him. And then they said a name, and the name was different. So this is what made me look into the revolt in 1811. So this is why I wanted to share this with y'all, because I don't know how many of y'all knew about this. I never heard of it. I know a lot of people in Louisiana probably like, yeah, girl, you ain't know that? Yeah, I ain't never been to Louisiana. Ain't nobody never told me this story. I ain't never heard nobody in my family talk about this story. So that's why I brought it up. Let me continue to play. Again, we're using fair use with this video.
A clear objective: to capture the city of New Orleans and establish a free black republic on the banks of the Mississippi. This is the story of the largest slave revolt in American history, the German Coast Uprising of 1811.
Whoa, man, amazing.
We don't need commercials. Okay, we don't want to see commercials. We don't need commercials at all. We do not need commercials. Come on, commercial, and finish playing. Okay, we are back. We better be back.
Nearly 8 years after the Louisiana Purchase, New Orleans was a city of political intrigue. The governor of the Orleans Territory, a stubborn Virginian named William Claiborne, sought constantly to increase American power and influence in the region, at the expense of the proud French planters whose families had been in Louisiana for generations. The Creoles of New Orleans thought the American newcomers were boorish, rustic, and unrefined. The Americans thought the Creoles were vain, effeminate, and idolatrous. The two sides refused to even live together, and many Americans settled in the suburb of Faubourg St. Mary, just upriver of the Vieux Carré. The Americans called the Creole side of Canal Street the French Quarter, and the name stuck. As the two factions squabbled for supremacy in the city, a very different political drama was unfolding on the German coast.
Preoccupied with preparing for a raucous carnival celebration, the whites of this region did not notice their slaves secretly meeting with slaves from other plantations. They did not notice the groups of men speaking in hushed voices here at Congo Square during Sunday dances. And in their arrogance, they did not comprehend that they were about to be outmaneuvered by people that they saw as little more than beasts of burden.
The architect of this conspiracy.
Since I told you I got to interrupt this every once in a while, what cracks me up, and I'm still befuddled. Yes, I said befuddled. That's one of my favorite words that I made up a long time ago. But I was actually befuddled because I'm like, how did they think? I still never understand how they thought that slaves were stupid, but they were the ones that came up with everything. I didn't understand that. I didn't quite understand how they thought they were stupid when they were the ones that showed them how to do things. The slaves was the one that fed their kids, breastfed their kids to be exact. So I'm kind of confused. They were the ones that taught them how to use the contraptions. I'm confusion. How did they thought the slaves was stupid? Y'all answer that question down in the comment section. Let me continue.
Was a man named Charles Deslandes. The son of a white father and black mother, Deslandes worked as a slave driver on the woodland plantation. He planned work schedules, meted out punishments to idle or unruly slaves, and reported directly to Manuel Andrew, the master of the woodland plantation. To everyone who knew him, he was Andrew's obsequious right-hand man, his loyal lapdog, a cruel overseer given preferential treatment simply because of the lightness of his skin.
It was an act. Deslandes despised the slave owner class.
Wait a minute. I just caught a good giggle, y'all. Reason why I caught a good giggle is because y'all know how they always like to say all skin folk ain't kinfolk. I wonder if that's where they came up with that thought, that word from, that comment from, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. But people did have people that was light skinned thinking that they were better. I think that's where a lot of the biggest issues come from nowadays between light skin, dark skin, and all that stupid stuff. But let me proceed.
And in the autumn months of 1810, two other men got to know the real Charles Deslandes. Their names were Cook and Kwamana, and they were recent arrivals from West Africa, more specifically the Akan Kingdom. These were big, scary guys, ritualistic scars on their faces, and they probably had military experience. Charles Deslandes told them all about how 20 years earlier, the slaves of Haiti had risen up and slaughtered their masters and successfully established an independent black state. These revolutionary whispers must have been like music to Cook and Kwamana's ears. This triumvirate, these three men, represented a confluence of West African military strategy and French Creole political cunning. Slowly, carefully, these three men set about fermenting rebellion.
All right, this feels almost illegal.
Hold on, y'all. We got a commercial. So while we got a commercial, let me play this for y'all real quick, just to give y'all something to smile about. You don't want to play now? Commercial done. Hold on, y'all.
During the first week of January 1811, a fearsome rainstorm descended upon South Louisiana. The downpour lasted for days, and soon the roads were half a leg deep in mud.
No field work could be accomplished in the driving, pounding rain. The slaves of the German coast were idle, and those involved in Deslandes' conspiracy must have been restless. Finally, word came, through furtive whispers on plantations and in the Congo Square dances. On January 8th, 2 days after Twelfth Night, the beginning of Carnival, the fight for freedom would begin. The timing was no accident. Governor Claiborne sent most of the troops at his disposal to Baton Rouge to secure the American annexation of Spanish West Florida. New Orleans was practically defenseless.
On the night of the 8th, Deslandes and 25 slaves crept into the big house of the woodland plantation, armed with axes and cane knives. Manuel Andrew woke to see Deslandes standing over his bed with murder in his eyes. He reacted quickly, launching himself up and breaking through his attackers as they lashed out with their blades. Andrew's son, Gilbert, wasn't quite so lucky. Another group of slaves surrounded him and hacked him to pieces.
Andrew fled the woodland plantation and made for the river. Despite his injuries, he boarded a rickety canoe and paddled all the way across to the west bank of the Mississippi. Once there, he burst into the home of a plantation owner named Charles Perret and told him the catastrophic news. His slaves were revolting.
Meanwhile, the rebels raided the basement of Andrew's house for rifles and militia uniforms. It would not be a horde of brigands marching to New Orleans, but a legitimate army with a legitimate political goal. And so the slave army marched downriver. Cries of "On to New Orleans" and "Freedom or Death" echoed down the levee. They gathered strength. About a quarter of the slaves on the German coast joined in the revolt. Within a day, the rebellion had grown.
Now, y'all, I want to tell y'all this. This video is going to be a little bit longer. And the reason why it's going to be a little bit longer, because this story right here that this Caucasian man is telling is not the way that I listen to the story. So I'm going to show you two versions. Only some of them seem like they match. So hold on and let me finish playing.
To a force 500 strong. As word of the insurrection spread, white planters began to flee their homes and make for the city. But not every slave owner took the threat seriously.
This is the grave of Francois Trepanier, a notoriously cruel planter. How cruel exactly? Well, legend has it that Trepanier kept a slave boy named Gustave as a pet, would have him on a leash and throw him dinner scraps like a dog. Now, Trepanier, he scoffed when a loyal slave urged him to escape to the swamps. Instead, he sat out on his porch and grabbed his shotgun and waited for the slave army to arrive. He didn't have to wait long. Soon he saw them coming up near his front fence, so he started shooting at them, but he had a shotgun and they were about 200 feet away, so he didn't hit a damn thing. At this point, Cook saw what was going on, went behind Trepanier's house, went up the stairs, snuck up behind him, and then he buried his axe in his skull.
In New Orleans, the early morning calm was shattered by horsemen thundering through the Rue Carrée shouting the news. Refugees poured into the city, telling horror stories of murder and mayhem. The white population began to panic.
Governor Claiborne immediately issued a 6 p.m. curfew for black men in the city, and then he did the unthinkable. He ordered that all of the bars in the city and suburbs of New Orleans be closed.
Claiborne managed to scrape together 30 regulars and 2 companies of volunteer militia. A force of 100 men against a slave army 5 times their number. Under the command of General Wade Hampton, the Americans marched to battle. Along the way, they picked up some fleeing planters, who formed an ersatz cavalry detachment. After dark, they reached the grounds of the Kenner and Henderson plantation, where the airport stands today. Here, the slave army had stopped for the night. Hampton carefully laid an ambush, positioning men around the encampment. The signal was given. The infantry and cavalry surged forward, at nothing. Minutes earlier, the slave army had retreated. The camp was almost completely abandoned.
This moment has long been regarded as a failure of military discipline on the slaves' part, but recent scholarship has revealed the wisdom of Delon's decision to fall back.
In his book, American Uprising, academic Daniel Rasmussen has argued that the Americans had fallen for a classic West African military ruse. Congolese armies, when fighting against better armed opponents such as the Portuguese or British, often refused battle when circumstances were not in their favor. And perhaps with Cook and Kwamana advising him, Delon reckoned it would be better to lure the Americans into a battle he knew he could win. Given time to find good ground, the slave...
Okay, so anybody comes in the chat, put down in the comment section and let me know, have you ever heard of those gentlemen's names? Even if you live in Louisiana, been to Louisiana, got family in Louisiana, have y'all ever heard of any of those individuals' names? Have y'all heard about those 2 wars? Did y'all hear about the 1811 revolt? Let me know down in the comment section, because I would really like to know. And if you did, and y'all got some info and you can tell me about it, let a sister know. Because we can open it up. Not tonight, but we could bring back this conversation and we could open the panel up and we could have a conversation about it, because some folks need a history lesson. And hell, I'm one of those people that love to learn some new history. Okay? I'm just saying. Let me know how y'all feel. Just let us just know how y'all feel. Just in case of one of our My roses come through here. I'm going to play this for a little intermission song. Hold on, y'all.
Can I call you Rose? 'Cause you're sweet like a flower. Can I call you Rose? 'Cause you're sweet like a flower in bloom. Oh, baby.
Okay. Now we're going to get back to listening to some more of this. But let me know down in the comment section if you heard about any of these people, you heard about this war, if you got any other information that goes against what he's saying, let me know. I would really like to know.
Slave army could very well have destroyed the Americans, had not events across the river conspired against the rebels, and eventually brought about their doom. During the slave army's march to the city, Manuel Andre had been busy. With Charles Perret's help, he had galvanized a force of 80 plantation owners on the West Bank, and on the morning of the 10th, he led them back across the river.
Okay, it's commercial time, y'all. So, y'all, tell me, how has y'all day been so far? Hope y'all had a good day. I shouldn't say so far, but it might be so far by the time you listen to this. I don't know. But let me know how y'all day has been so far. Did everybody get to catch Giving You the Real Teas live? Child, he is a trip. Hey, Terrence, with your crazy self. I cannot. Child, he is a hot mess. But let me get back down to this video because we are off commercial. Hold on, y'all.
The planter militia stumbled upon the rear of the slave army on the grounds of the Bernady plantation. Each side represented an existential threat to the other. If the planters won, the slaves would be slaughtered, or worse. If the slaves won, the plantation class of Louisiana would be cast down and destroyed. Each side needed to achieve victory, or they would die. African drums pounded across the field in a warlike rhythm. The planters advanced, flintlocks flashed and muzzles roared. The final battle was on.
No one knows exactly what happened next. It's possible that the slaves fired their muskets before the planters actually came within range. Or maybe the rain, which was still falling heavily that morning, obscured their vision, and a target of 500 men is much easier to hit than a target of 80 men. In any case, within minutes, the slave army was out of ammunition, and the masters were in no mood for mercy.
The slaves broke and ran, many turning north to the swamps in a desperate attempt to escape. The planters charged in and massacred every black person they could find. They only took 25 prisoners, including Cook and Quamana. Then they combed the swamps with their bloodhounds. After 2 days, the dogs found Charles Deslandes.
In revenge for his son's murder, Andre cut off Deslandes' arms, shot him, and threw him in a fire. Cook, Quamana, and 20 other slaves were tried at a kangaroo court here at the Destrehan plantation. When Cook was asked whether he had killed Francois Trepanier with an axe, he freely and proudly admitted to the murder. And then he paid for that admission with his life.
Claiborne and the planters decided to make an example of the rebels. 100 slaves were decapitated and their heads set on pikes for 40 miles along the road, from the Woodland plantation all the way to the Place d'Armes in the heart of the French Quarter, what is today known as Jackson Square.
It must have been a grisly spectacle, a message from the plantation class in the only language they understood: untrammeled violence. However, the real victors here were not the French planters who would actually put down the rebellion, but American legislators who leveraged the crisis to tighten their grip on power.
A month after the revolt, Governor Claiborne wrote to Washington, asking the government to send a permanent garrison of American troops to New Orleans to protect its people and to enforce Claiborne's political will. A year later, Claiborne's dream of Louisiana statehood finally became a reality. Andrew Jackson's victory at the Battle of New Orleans
Okay, y'all. That's as far as I want to go on his video. I want to show y'all the video I was looking at first. Okay. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me give you some music to play while I get this in order.
Welcome to the stage, feel the vibe ignite with the rhythm in my heart. I'm ready to unite. All my visitors gather round, it's a celebration. To my crown and you all, thank you for your dedication. Life's a journey and we're here on this ride. Embrace the love, let it flow, don't hide. Queens and kings, let your spirit soar.
What happened next was so brutal, so terrifying, that history itself
shake the ground, echoes of our laughter, let the joy resound. Embrace your power, let your voice break free. In this kingdom of art, we're writing our decree. From every heartbeat to the depths of our soul, we're weaving stories, together we are whole. Here's to the nights where our dreams unfold. We're warriors of love, let our legacy be told. So hit that thumbs up, show the queen some love, feel the energy rise. Like the stars above, together we reign. In this moment we thrive. Crowning glory, let's keep the dream alive. Thank you for your presence, your spirit, your grace. In this grand tapestry, we all have a space. Crowning glory forever. We'll rise and we'll sing. With love in our hearts, we're a powerful thing. Welcome to the stage. Feel the vibe ignite with the rhythm.
I got it. I got it. Sorry for the hold. But this is the one I was watching yesterday. Now you want to act goofy on me?
Google AI powers campaigns that work for you.
Now they want to start this dumb crap again.
This one right here is packed with action, resistance, and violence.
This is for
So let
Urban
me
Mommy.
just say this up front.
Shout out to Urban Mommy for this video. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Okay? Fair use.
Algorithm probably ain't gonna push this one, so I'm gonna need y'all to share it. Now, let me tell y'all about one of the most violent, most covered up, and most powerful uprising in U.S. history. And yes, it happened right in New Orleans. So let's set the scene. It's 1811, and we're in Louisiana, along the Mississippi River, in an area that they used to call the German coast. Today, we call it the river parishes. That's St. John, St. James, and St. Charles Parish. And what was growing out there? Yep, sugar. Now, sugar wasn't just sweet, it was deadly. Enslaved people in sugar plantations were worked to death, literally. Their life expectancy was just a few years. It was hot, dangerous, and violent. You couldn't survive long out there. So imagine how bad it had to be for somebody to say, I'd rather risk that than to live like this. And that somebody was Charles Deslan. He was an enslaved man from Saint Domingue, which is modern-day Haiti, and many believed he was inspired by the Haitian Revolution, the same one where black folks overthrew the French and won. You see, Deslan worked on the Andrew plantation, but while the owners thought he was loyal, he was really just plotting. On January 8, 1811, he went.
Because don't y'all forget, Charles Delon was the slave master's son, and his mother was a slave. Just had to say that.
With his in a small group, killed the plantation owner's son, armed themselves with axes and a few stolen guns, and set the plantation on fire. Then they started marching toward New Orleans. And it wasn't just a few people. As they went from plantation to plantation, more and more enslaved folks joined in. By the time it was in full swing, there were over 500 black people marching in formation. They were burning plantations, beating drums, wearing makeshift uniforms, and moving like an army. Yes, an actual army. Their goal was to take New Orleans and slavery and upset the setup. Now, when plantation owners and government officials got wind of what was going on, they panicked. This wasn't an escape attempt. This was a full-blown rebellion. So they acted fast. Within 2 days, militias, plantation owners, U.S. Army troops, and territorial officials all came together. They ambushed the rebels near what's now called Kenner. Many were killed in battle. Some tried to run. Others were caught and dragged back to plantations for punishment. But y'all, this is where it gets dark. They didn't just kill the rebels.
Now y'all see the difference in the stories between when that white man told it and this black woman is telling it. And I think she's from New Orleans, Louisiana. And if she's from New Orleans, Louisiana, she gonna get more of the info than that white man would. But I'm just saying. Let me continue because we're almost done.
And then they took those heads and put them on spikes, lining the Mississippi River levee from the plantations all the way to New Orleans. Just imagine riding along the river and seeing the heads of black men and women mounted on poles, rotting in the heat for miles. They wanted everybody to see it. This was a message. Don't you ever try this again. It was pure psychological warfare. You see, the government thought they were shutting it down, and on the surface, it did look like a failed rebellion. Yes, about 95 were killed, but some people made it. Historical records show that a number of the rebels were never found. That means they likely escaped, maybe into maroon colonies in the swamps or into other cities, or even mixed in with free black communities. So no, it wasn't a total defeat. Some people got free. And then the rebellion lived on. Even though the system tried to erase it, the memory survived. In whispered stories, in spirituals, in coded messages passed down, this revolt became part of the black tradition of resistance that inspired the Creole Revolt, Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Harriet Tubman, and even the Black Panther Party. It reminded people, even if we lose this time, we keep fighting. This uprising shook the South. 500 black folks moving like a military unit, that had never happened before. It showed that enslaved people weren't just angry, they were organized. It scared white folks so bad that they tightened slave laws, increased patrols, and doubled down on control, because now they knew they're not just dreaming about freedom, they're planning it. Well, let's be honest. If the rebellion wasn't a real threat, they wouldn't have gone that hard. You don't line a river with heads unless you're scared. And make no mistake, they were terrified. The system was never as strong as it looked, and this uprising exposed its cracks. And most importantly, this was just one battle. And like with any war, you're not going to win every fight. But that doesn't mean it wasn't worth it. This was a blueprint, a wake-up call, proof that enslaved people were not broken. They were strategizing, risking it all, and sending a message for generations to come. So, no, this wasn't just a failed attempt. This was a spark. It scared the South, it proved our power, and it lit a fire that never died. If this story moved you, don't let it get buried. Share it. Talk about it. Keep it alive. Because they happen. Remember.
Okay, y'all. What y'all think about that? Like I said, y'all let me down in the comment section if you knew about the revolt of 1811, because I did not. Let me know if you from Louisiana, if you got family in Louisiana. Did you ever hear these stories back in the day when you was younger? See, my mama was from North Carolina. She was born in 1928. She had me when she was 40. So by the time she had me, child, I know none of this stuff wasn't even on her mind. It might have been on her heart, but it sure wasn't in her mind. Because I know her mama had to tell her some stories. Okay. Oh, my grandfather probably told us some stories too. But one never knows. But y'all let me know if y'all heard of any of this. Okay. I would really like to know. I like to get y'all feedback, and I like to know what y'all done heard of, what y'all done heard about. What's next? What other war you want to talk about? What other uprising and rebellion do y'all want to talk about? Let a sister know, because I'm telling you, these are the things that be in my thoughts and my heart, and I'll be really wanting to give to y'all. So I'm going to give them to y'all either way. Okay? I'm not holding back on nothing no more. How about that, y'all? I'm not holding back on nothing. If I got something I want to say, I'm just going to pop up here and say it. Minus my other 2 days. Like tomorrow is Temperature Check Tuesday. Y'all better be over here at 1 p.m. If I don't catch you in that chat at 1 p.m. tomorrow on Tuesday, the 25th, we gonna fight. Whoever I'm looking for, y'all don't see your face in that chat at 1 p.m. unless you at work. We gonna fight. Okay? But, and then let me explain to y'all another reason why I did this. Because one, slavery was not a choice. Because you know Looney Tune, Kanye West, and them, and Waka Flocka and all the weirdos swear slavery was a choice when it was not. Do you not think if black folks had in their mind that they knew they could whoop them white people from the get-go, you don't think they would have did it? You don't think they would have ran if they had a chance to run from the beginning? You think they'd ever let a man be raped by another man? Did you think that a man would let a husband would allow the master to rape their wife or their daughters? Come on now, that shit wasn't no choice. No, what's a choice is people running around here crazy in their head when they don't take their medication. That's what's crazy in here. Or people that should be on medication that don't take medication, that need to be taking medication because they crazy in the head. That's what's crazy. But to say slavery was a choice, it was not. And another reason why I wanted to talk about this, because just like they fought, we may not be our ancestors. Matter of fact, I still got to play that song. Might not be our ancestors, but you know what? As my song says, we got they fire. Y'all know people of color had to fight for everything they've ever wanted, and still got to continue to fight for everything you want. Because the government will try to kick you in your back every time. Somebody else will try to take what you done made, just like we're going to talk about that too. I'm going to run off a list of things that black folks have made that the caucasity of it all has taken over and claimed as their own. Like with that dumbass Christopher Columbus. No, he ain't discovered shit. It was here before you got here with the Native Americans. And like I said, they steal everything. Ideas, children, daughters, wives, husbands. That's what they like to do. But I'm just saying, it's a lot. But we as a people in 2025 have to learn to stand up for what's right and stop falling for the okie doke and listen to what's wrong and falling for the bullshit. Because our ancestors died for this country, not of their own free will. Not because I feel like being a slave today. I'm going to let the master beat me. No, not none of that. They were forced here. It's like I did in the Haitian video. Only difference is people from Haiti still have their language, their religion, and they still can go back home. Us, on the other hand, we can't do that because they don't welcome Black Americans in Africa a lot of times because they have been told so many bad things about Black Americans. So they sometimes toot their noses up at us. But hopefully, some people are learning not to fall for the okie doke. But again, I hope y'all enjoyed the video I did earlier. And if you didn't check it out, please go check it out because these are two serious topics. That's why I wanted to talk about them. And I said, if I do them live, I'm not going to get through it because I'll be cussing, cutting up, and everything else. But I think I did kind of good without cussing too much. Don't y'all think? Put a deuces in the chat if you think am I telling the truth. I ain't do too much cussing. And I love to cuss. So I've been trying to behave a little bit. But that was the thing. I need people to stop punking out and not fighting for what's right. When you know you right, you had a right to fight to prove you are right. If you're wrong, sometimes just sit down and shut up and take your loss. Take that L and keep it pushing. Why make things worse? But this day and age, we're dealing with this government. We can't sit still. We can't sit idly by and be quiet. You just can't. Because if you think about it, all your grandchildren, hell, your children, they may not have no future. They might not be able to go to college. There might not be no colleges to go to. If you get sick, depending on where you live, you might not have a hospital to go to. You might not even make it to the hospital. I'm just saying, people need to stand up because I see a lot of Spanish folks. That's why I say, Black folks, y'all talk that tough shit. When it come down to it, see, Spanish people, they stick together. That's what's wrong with Black folks. Black folks can't stick together too much. Spanish people can do it. Asian people will do it. The Asian Indians do it. I know it's other nationalities that don't, but Jewish families, they do it. Muslim families, they do it. What's wrong with Black folks? Black folks need to get together. Hell, because if we all had to live in that big one-ass house together, what would y'all do with yourselves? See, because we know we can't live underneath somebody else's roof with them. But Spanish folks, child, they will sleep in shifts. They don't give a damn. I'm just saying. Black folks need to learn how to come together for what's right. Get out your fucking feelings and stand up for what's right, especially for this country. And your freedom, and your children's freedom, and your children's education, and your children's education, and their freedom. Because they're trying to build more ICE spots, is what Donald Duck is trying to do. The Orange Demon is trying to go into other cities and states and slithering like a snake that he is, trying to build other ICE facilities. He did that in another place where they do, I forgot the name of the crabs, and they went to go get their helicopter and the damn thing was gone. Come to find out, they moved the damn thing 2 hours away because he wanted to build an ICE facility on a property. And they was like, the devil is a lie. You ain't getting ready to do that and bring that helicopter right the hell back over here. And he was doing it without the mayor knowing it and the governor knowing it. So y'all pay attention to what that Orange Demon is doing, because I told y'all before, if you live in a Democratic state, watch your funds, watch all your shit. I don't care if it's your Social Security. I don't care if it's your unemployment. I don't care if it's your food stamp. I don't care what it is. Watch it, because they are playing games. And they're going to make the Democratic states suffer worse than anybody else. How do I know? Because I'm one of those Democratic states, and they fucking with all my stuff. Okay. So, just to say that. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Drop down in the chat. Let me know, did you enjoy the information? Did you not? Was it too much? Because like I said, I've never heard of it. And the fact that they put all those heads on stakes for miles and miles on a highway in the heat in Louisiana is insanity. And it's sick in the fucking head. But I said, that's where all that barbaric shit come from. Caucasians. Black folks didn't know nothing about all that. Y'all psychos came up with that shit. And want to act like Black folks act like animals. No, sir, that would be y'all. Y'all like to eat each other. Y'all cannibals. Y'all started all this violent shit. Y'all like to be violent. But anyhow, I'm gonna let that go before I lose my mind. But I'm just speaking the facts. So feel free to share the video, like the video, please. Hype the video up if you're catching this after this video is done premiering. I would appreciate that because we need to get in the algorithm. And the lady's name was, what was her name again? I'm gonna give y'all her name so y'all can follow her. The lady's name is, where'd it go? Because she has some other history stuff. Urban Mommy. That's her name. It's Urban Mommy. So if y'all want to check her out, go check her out. Shout out to Urban Mommy for that clip. And fair use, fair use, fair use. Okay. In full effect. All right. So I want to say thank y'all so much. Oh, let me give y'all pass the mic before I forget. Can't forget pass the mic before I get out of it. Please drop some crowns in the chat, please. That's from me to y'all. And some purple hearts along the way. If you would appreciate it, I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it. But hold on, let me play y'all pass the mic.
Y'all relationship was good. Y'all were actually getting along. Y'all were in a good place. And out of nowhere, you just start getting scared. I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to put myself out. The devil sent that. You have been coming to church, reading your Bible. You on Devo energy. You praying more than you ever pray. You getting comfortable not talking to people who take you backwards. Then out of nowhere, you get this feeling that I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to be alone. Who am I going on vacation? The devil is slick. The devil know he can't stop you. So what he does is he sends something to make you stop you. Listen to me. The devil has no power. What does he have, PMJ? He has permission and persuasion. He can't touch you unless he get permission. Hey, Jesus, God says, have you considered my servant Job? What does the devil say back to him? I would have been killed him, but you got a hedge of protection. So I tell you what, if you give me permission, I'll go get him. So the devil don't have power. He got permission and persuasion. He uses fear to talk you out of what God already gave you. Y'all missed it.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all again for coming through. With that being said, it's a Stu Queen Bee out. I holla.
In the shadows of giants, we stand tall. Echoes of courage in every call. We are the wildfire, burning bright. With every heartbeat, we claim our right. We are not our ancestors, but their flame we hold. Fighting for freedom, a story retold. In this land of the brave, we rise and we see. Together we stand in unity free. With voices like thunder, we pierce the night. Mahalia spirit in harmony's light. Each step we take, a dance on the line. Resilience in spirit, our souls intertwine. We are our ancestors, but their flame we hold. Fighting for freedom, a story retold. In this land of the brave, we rise and we see. Together we stand. Through trials and storms, we forge our way. With roots in the past, we greet the new day. In this sacred struggle, our voices align. A testament of love and freedom, we shine. We are not our ancestors, but their flame we hold. Fighting for freedom. A story retold. A story retold. In this land.